I'm looking at a new book today. This is Watercolor Textures for Artists. Explore simple techniques to create amazing works of art. Now, this is a book by a lady called Anna. I've been aware of her for a little while. I've got a couple of her other books. This is her fourth book, and it's recently been published in 2024 by Quarry. It's a softback with 136 pages, and it's described as suitable for all skill levels with minimal drawing. Now, what I like about Anna's books is I find them really calming just to read and look through. Her style of painting, it's quite simple, but she creates these wonderful effects, and I feel it really is suitable for anyone who's starting out or who's been painting for a little while and needs some extra help. So let's have a look inside. We have lovely bright colourful pages in this book. It's very cheerful to read. It has this mystical element. It's definitely a fun book. Now we start off with the introduction, watercolour basics, texture swatching, inspired textures, mindful painting, mystical landscapes and skyscapes, and then we have some templates and some further information. Now, I always say read the introduction, and that is something you should always try and do whenever you get a new book, because it could have important information on how to use the book or what the author was thinking when they actually wrote the book. Now, here we cover the 7 main elements of art: creating visual effects and expressing concepts and emotions, and the way texture can be shown visually. So that's a very interesting introduction to read. Now, I love this. Look, it's just so beautiful. The colours are wonderful. So we start with watercolour basics, watercolour essentials, supplies, and then we move on to texture swatching. So in this section, Anna's going to teach you about creating the first wash and about layering. We have wet on dry techniques, wet on wet textures, and mixed media textures. Throughout the book, you'll see there's not huge, great big chunks of writing, and there are very large, really easy to see and follow photographs, so which does make it very easy, especially for people who are visual learners and they just can't cope with lots of writing to plod through. So these books are very, very easy to use. And then we move on to inspired textures, which is about observing and analysing everything around you and how to interpret them. So we don't have so much writing in here, but we have lots of lovely visuals. And by the time you've worked through the beginning section, you should have a good idea of how these were created to have a go yourself. And don't be scared to make mistakes. Mistakes are all part of the learning process, and it's all about practicing and practicing. And this really, to me, gives you so many ideas on using colour and different shapes. Look at this, swirling marble. Oh, so many beautiful colours. Then we move on to mindful painting, which is about the calming influence of mindful painting, about losing yourself in your painting. And this is something I feel so strongly about. You should be able to just forget everything around you, concentrate on the painting, and just take yourself away from whatever situation you might be in that's causing you stress. So we have some repetitive pine trees, tranquility stones. These are beautiful, so much fun as well. Some abstract stripes, some sand dollars and sea urchins, and some Zen pebbles. Then we move on to mystical landscapes and skyscapes, and in here we have the instructions. So we've got some step-by-step instructions, 2 ways to create a meadow, some planets, tulip field, some additional ideas and further inspiration. So we've got Midnight Wonder, deserts, moonlight, coral reef, and the power of colour. And then we have some templates for the book, and we also have some bonus templates. So these pictures don't appear in the book, they're just for you to colour however you wish. And we've got resources about the author and the index. Now, I really love Anna's style. I find they're books that if you're feeling a bit fed up, you need to just pick up and flick through, get some ideas, then get your paints out and just create anything. But it's wonderful that you have got the projects in here, you've got all the information you use. These books are really good for visual learners, and I just absolutely love this. There is no shame at all in not wanting to read great big chunks of writing, just wanting to get down to the painting, because you actually learn even more by painting sometimes than you do by reading. It's great to read, I love it, but it is really important not to forget that painting and practicing is actually the main clue to creating. If you just read and you don't practice, you're never actually going to learn. So I just find that this book is very calming. I love the mystical element. I love the colours that Anna uses. I love the fact she's encouraging you to use your imagination. It's so important to be able to have this freedom to paint whatever you want, not to worry about making mistakes, and, you know, just add some interest. And with adding texture, you can really create some wonderful effects. So, as I've mentioned, Anna does have 4 books altogether. She also runs online courses and classes. So that's Watercolor Textures for Artists. Really such a fun book. A fun, mindful painting, inspirational book.